Hi guys, it's Wolf from Tesla Owners US, and today we have a topic what I hesitate to publish, but I think I have to do it anyway because there are some indications which leads me that the referral program, what was quite risky to drop, might come back. And this answer we provide you after this.
I pressed and say.
Okay, let's start. So what Elon always said, what you incentivize, that will happen. So if you don't incentivize anything, it will not happen. So what that means is we incentivized to help everybody to sell Teslas. And I did many of them when the program was not there, and friends of mine drove the cars and so on. Until when the program started, I bought the Model 3 and also a Model X for my company and to open a rental car company and said, hey, they can rent the car, test drive it for 1, 2 or 3 days. Then they think if they like it, and if they like it, they can get my referral code and buy a Tesla. And that was the whole idea, to do that in order to do that investment. And that's what I did. And originally, in the first Model 3s, when they came out, they did not have any referral codes until they later got introduced with the referral codes. But many people drove the Model 3s and said, oh, I'm happy that you do that you give your car out there, and now I know what options I have to select and what should I select, colors, interior, and so on, so that I stick now with my reservations, don't get the money back, and I order the car. But these were the low-hanging fruits that those people already have pre-ordered. Already people have been convinced about that. And the low-hanging fruits continued in Europe now with those people who pre-ordered. The difference was that at that time the referral code was active, and people who had pre-ordered them just called or wrote an email and said, please use this or that referral code so that I can get a half a year supercharging or 9 months of supercharging. So, and that was very unexpected, because all of a sudden a massive amount of Roadsters came to be given away, or kind of given away, because they have to pay quite an amount of gift tax for that. So it's not for free, it's maybe the half of them is for free, if you can afford that tax to be paid. So a friend of mine he got with that 138 referrals. So this end up into 3 Roadsters and a little bit more. And sure, he was happy about that, but he knew that only 30 of them have been delivered. The other ones are not delivered because he is from Europe or from Germany, and they are going to be delivered. So once they are delivered, then they are counting, and he has a guarantee for that he will get that car or these cars. So at the beginning it probably was quite easy to help sell some Teslas and use your referral code for that. And I have to admit it as well, because there were people who wanted to buy one, and I went to them. I have a couple of stories on my YouTube site as well, and they are renters or they are friends, and I said, hey, you can have it for a day or 2. I'll waive even the rental fee. You are a friend to drive it as a friend. And then if you use my referral, hey, great. Then you get the car. And it was a Model S, Model X, Model 3. So that's how it worked for me. It worked good for me at the beginning. So, but then the whole referral program ended. And now I have 3 or 4 people looking into that one, doing research and so on. But they haven't driven yet, and one of them drove also, and she was already convinced. But now I'm doing the opposite, because I'm hoping that the program comes back, and I'm saying now, hey, do your research, look at the 5-seater, look at the 6-seater, look at the 7-seater, look at all of the options, look how you can charge them, and instead of telling them all of the, I told them all of the advantages, the tax advantages, Section 179, federal tax credits, license tax credits, and so on. But that doesn't do it. It has to do more. And you spend significant amount of time to convince people that Ben from Teslanomics, he made the figures, and he had an interesting report. What I also recommend you guys to look at that was, he said, what did the referral program, if you calculate the cost of the referral program, actually cost Tesla? And where other big car companies spending $2,500 per sold car in marketing expenses, it ended up that Tesla is barely over fiat to sell a car. So fiat is $145 or something like the figures was, and Tesla's maybe around $160 per car sold. So, and that comes only through the referral program. Now, the folks at the galleries, they also do their part. And they can probably also confirm it's not that easy. It's not that easy to convince people to go all electric. And we still know people who are driving around in the valley and not dare to drive outside the vicinity of Phoenix because they consider that car as a car within the environment of Phoenix or in the valley of Phoenix and not using it for a long trip. But that's what you have to convince the people as well. So now, thanks to Ben, he figured out the numbers. He is the numbering wizard, would I say. So now the low-hanging fruits are all harvested. And so more market share you want to gain, so more difficult it becomes. And I tell you why. Humans are reluctant to change. And I'm usually, that's my job, kind of like a change agent in my job as well, because I have a consulting company as well. That's what I started. I started actually with KPMG here in the US. And I had to convince people to go to a different system if they were used to have their old system. And they loved their old system, but there was a decision being made, and I had to convince all the people to go to the new system. So, and that is very similar with cars. They got used to their Audis and their Mercedes and their GMs and said, I was driving for 20 years a Cadillac and I'm going to buy a Cadillac again. And this sales force, they have their addresses, they have their phone numbers, and they call them and tell them, hey guys, we have a new Cadillac. It's a great Cadillac, and they do all of their fun, fancy things. And it's nothing else as it was before, the last Cadillac what they bought. But they keep going and buying the same stuff all over and over again. And to have that paradigm shift, it takes a lot of effort to convince people. Now, other car companies, even making a Super Bowl advertisement for electric cars, are kind of blocking the sale of Tesla. Or, I don't want to say blocking, it's more making their own constituents or their own customer hesitative to change. Because they said, oh, they're coming out 2020, 21, 25 or something like that. And that you can pre-order them, you might get them, or it's going to be delayed. Or this is going to be delayed like any other car is being delayed, but they're pre-promising them, and that hesitation will go through their customers, and the customers, they don't want to lose. They're going to stay with them. And I even have a friend, he's driving for years a Tesla, and now he's signing up for an electric Porsche, the Taycan. So that probably is a very promising car, but that's blocking as well. So old Porsche people want to continue to buy Porsche, and that it's getting more and more difficult to gain market share, and he needs an armada of people for that to convince, and his galleries will not do it. You have to be out there, you have to take time with the people to talk to them and say, hey, try it, do it, you will not regret it. And that's why I'm thinking that needs to change. So the other things is what I found kind of an evidence or example for. So I give you the pictures here or there for my referral program. And in the beginning they said the referral program ends on April 1st. Please do all of your selections, and if you have done all of your selections, then we let you know when it's been delivered and so on. Now I'm looking at that and I show you another screenshot of that. It says your referral program ends on February 28th. So why is that happening? That they are pulling it a month forward. So why is that happening? So two things, what I'm thinking. So what you have to do first is, if you have that high referral program and you have debts to your customers or to your guys who's doing referral. So what you have to do according to GAAP, I think you have to put financial reserves in place. So you have to accrue liabilities. So what they wanted to do is, after April 1st, make a cut through the program and see what are our liabilities now in total. So these are all of our liabilities in total. What does it cost us? Now accrue those liabilities. And when you accrue those liabilities, then you can start all over and say, how much do I want to spend in the future? But now that has been pulled forward to the end of the month earlier, to one end of the month earlier, in order to find out about how much accruals I have to build for that, to accrue my liabilities and to start with a no program. So why do they pull that forward and want to start with a new program? So they build their accruals and then find out how much do we want to spend in the future to help our extended customer base to gain more new customers to sell. So it was first the risk to put it on April 1st, but now I'm guessing that the order entry dropped, probably also dropped significantly, because there are not more people pushing. And because of that, they had to pull the date forward and said, make your selection on February 28th for that, so that I can draw a line underneath and say, this is what I have to build on accruals. Now let's put a new program in place. Maybe, and I have to admit, that program was an awesome program, because 2% per each referral for a new Roadster is quite an amount of money. And I would not expect that they did it even for the Model 3. Maybe in the future they can do maybe 2% for the X and the S, and 1% for the Model 3 and the Model Y, or something in that area, and maybe 4% for a Roadster with a down payment. So that could be a possibility that they are changing to that. And this is the indications what I think will happen, because as Elon said, what you incentivize, that will happen. And if that should happen, it will come back. That's my personal opinion, and that's my observations, what I do. But let's keep the fingers crossed. So I'm waiting.
I pressed and say, I went and said.